Alrighty, good evening, everyone. If the audio is okay and you guys can see me okay, please let me know in the live chat so I can reach out to you guys and I can make sure this is all good to go before we get started. So just let me know in the live chat, give me a thumbs up if audio is okay and you can see me streaming okay. But thanks everyone for tuning in and for being part of this live stream tonight. I'm excited to chat with you folks and to be able to answer questions that you have. I will be sharing 5 easy ways to grow your Etsy shop from the get-go. And then afterwards, I will be answering questions that you have. So please, if you have questions, ask them in the live chat and I'll be sure to answer any questions that you have. So we got thumbs up. We're good to go. Audio's okay. Okay, perfect. So we will get started. So 5 ways to grow your Etsy shop. And these are easy, sure ways to grow your Etsy shop, which I highly suggest doing and implementing in your store. The first tip to grow your Etsy shop is, I've mentioned this before to you guys, is to do trend research and to do competitor research. If you're not doing trend research and if you're not selling things that people are actually searching for, you will never sell. It's just like fishing without bait. So you need to be doing trend research, figuring out what's trending currently on Etsy as well as other platforms, and see what people are searching for, keywords that they're searching for, and you can start designing in those niches so that you will stand out and you'll be involved with what's currently going on. And when you're doing your trend research, it's important that you're not copying other designs that are trending. You have to make a design that is completely different than what's currently trending and doing well. So you have to add your own spin on it. You need a trend combine and make it completely different, but still incorporate what is trending now. So you do your trend research and you will see success in your store and you'll see your store start to take off. And another great thing you can do on Etsy is competitive research. So if you're selling in a specific niche, let's say you're targeting mothers or whatever it is, make sure you do competitive research and see what other shops are doing and what they're having success with, what they're maybe lacking, what they're not doing well with, and then adjust accordingly in your shop. So as you do competitive research, you can pick up on maybe new ideas for your own shop, pick up on new design ideas for your own shop. And it's just such a great way to see what's currently working on Etsy. So you got to do your trend research. You need to do your competitive research in order to really excel on Etsy. Okay, and then another thing with this is making sure, it's like I keep looking over here because I have my notes to make sure that I don't miss anything for you guys. But the next thing you need to do is list. The more listings you have, the more opportunities you have to be found. It's a numbers game on Etsy. As more high quality listings that you have, the more success you will have on Etsy. That's just the way it is. It's a numbers game. The more opportunities you have to be found, the better luck you'll have. And kind of a model that I go by is quality is more important than quantity, but you do want to have a large quantity of high quality listings. Okay, so you got to have high quality listings and a high quantity of them, and then you'll see success. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 to grow your Etsy shop is reviews. You have to get reviews when you're starting out. The slowest part of beginning on Etsy is just those first initial sales and the first initial reviews. Once you get those reviews and you start to build that foundation, those reviews will act as a catalyst for success in your Etsy shop. So the best way to get those first initial reviews is to have family members outside of your home or friends to purchase an item from your store. And then once they receive it, to leave a 5-star review, a nice picture of the product if they can, and that will really help kickstart your store. So you got to get reviews to build that foundation for your store. Other ways I like to ask to get reviews is to just flat out ask my customers once they receive it. I'll follow the tracking once they receive the product. I will message them, say, according to the tracking number, your product has been delivered. And if you're happy with it, please let us know. If you have any issues, let us know. And then follow up with that if they respond, to ask them to leave a review, because as a small business, it'll help you so much. Okay, so you got to ask for reviews. With this, you can offer incentives. So you can do free giveaways. So tell them if they leave a review with a picture or just leave a review, they'll be entered into your monthly free giveaway to win 1 free product from your store, or however you want to set up. Another way to do it is to offer a coupon if they leave a review. So you can say, if you leave a review, I'll send you a coupon code of 10 or 15% off for your next purchase. And 1, it's a great way to entice them and encourage them to leave a review. And then 2, it's a great way to have a repeat customer and to have them come back and hopefully purchase from you again. So you got to get those reviews to build that foundation so that people will trust your shop. They'll know that you're a trusted seller, that you deliver what is shown on your listing, and that it's a great product for the customer to purchase. Okay, so you just got to ask for reviews. And then the last thing with this, for me personally, I would never order anything online if there were no reviews for it. And even if it had 1 or 2 reviews, I would still question it. I would be hesitant to place my order. But if it had several nice reviews with pictures of the product and the product was just like the listing photo, then I'm guaranteed to make my purchase because I trust the source of customers rather than just the seller. So the reviews are so important to grow your Etsy shop. For those of you that just tuned in, I'm sharing 5 easy ways to grow your Etsy shop. If you have questions, start throwing them up in the live chat. I'll be answering those shortly after. Okay, next tip to grow your Etsy shop is creating an email list. If you don't already have an option for someone to subscribe to your email list, it is a must for your store. The easiest way to do this is to have it in your announcement. So right below your banner, have it in the announcement saying, go and subscribe to our email list and you will receive 10% off or 20% off your next order, however you want to structure it. You need to have an incentive for them to sign up. And then once they sign up, they will receive that coupon code within the email that you send them. So if you get them into this email list, then you can target them afterwards and you can send them coupon codes throughout their stay as they're subscribed to your email list. You can send them sales that you're running, exclusive deals. You can let them know when you've updated or added new collections to your store. It's such a great way to retarget customers that have already been to your store. And if you have an email list set up, I suggest being active on the email list and sending out emails every few weeks, once a month, however you want to really just establish your email list and work with your customers. But you want to build a community around your brand yourself, and just be engaged with your customers. Okay, a few different email lists options that you can use. One, which I love, is ConvertKit. It's convertkit.com. You can go and check them out. They have a free option to sign up. Once you reach X amount of subscribers for your email list, and then you'll have to pay. But for the time being, just getting started, it's a great option for you. So that's convertkit.com. The next one I suggest is MailChimp. And it's just another platform to do email lists and to build an email list for your e-commerce store. Okay. All right. So let's see what else. So with this email list, once you get a new customer in your ecosystem, it is a must to keep them. So it's easier to convert a previous customer than a brand new customer. So when you get a new customer, you got to just value them so much, appreciate them, and make sure you do everything you can to keep them. 1, keep them happy, and 2, just keep them engaged in your store and what's going on. So once you get someone to do that first purchase on your store, you've done the hardest part. And especially if you've delivered a good product and they're happy with it, then you just got to keep them happy and keep them engaged. And as you have more repeat customers, the more your store will grow. And another great thing with keeping people happy, one, by notifying them with email lists, is if you have a repeat customer, more than likely they're going to share your store with their friends and their family members. And those friends and family members will trust them because they purchased from you already. So it's just a great way to naturally and organically grow your Etsy shop. Okay, so that's tip number 3, email list. Tip number 4 is customer service. So customer service is huge on Etsy. It's one thing that's unique about Etsy is you can engage with your customers. And it's so important that you have really good customer service. And that will help you stand out for your reviews. They'll leave reviews because you offered great customer service. Ways that you can offer great customer service is 1, messaging new buyers. 2 is following up on tracking. So once their product has been delivered, follow up, make sure all is well. And then 3, resolving any issues if there are ever any issues. And then with customer service, you can do giveaways. So offer giveaways to your customers. You need to have clear shop policies, really clear frequently asked questions in your store, and then all necessary listing descriptions. So all the necessary information in your listing description so that customers have no questions when they come to your store. And if you're offering top-notch customer service, people will trust you and they'll continue to come back to your store. It's just a no-brainer. Okay, and then with good customer service, as I mentioned before, it will lead to positive reviews. It will lead to referrals. It will lead to repeat customers. And one thing you always need to remember with your customer service is you always want to treat every customer like they're your first customer. So I know for those of you that have had your first sale, you've experienced that feeling of getting a customer coming to your store, purchasing the item, someone from across the states or wherever they are. And there's no cooler feeling with that. And you're so excited, you message them, you thank them. And so you need to just be as excited as you are with your 100th customer or your 1,000th customer as you are with your first customer, and treat them the exact same. So you always want to make sure your customers are happy. Okay, and as you do and offer great customer service, it will continue to grow your store. All right, the last tip I have for you for an easy way to grow your Etsy shop is rinsing and repeating, okay? So when you have a design that is gaining momentum and you have a design that's really taking off, it has become a bestseller badge or whatever it is, you'll notice once it starts to gain momentum, you need to just put this design on other products. So go across other products. You can put this design on tank tops, on t-shirts. If this is a design that's on a sweatshirt already, put it on hoodies, put it on mugs, whatever it is to increase your listing count with that same design for more opportunities for people to purchase. So if they love the design and they're purchasing it on a sweatshirt, most likely someone will purchase it on a mug or on a tank top or whatever it is. Okay, so rinse and repeat your design. And then the last thing with this rinsing and repeating is to create another design that's very similar to this. So maybe similar graphics or similar text with a different graphic, switch it up some, but have the similar theme, and then just twist it a little bit so that it's similar to your previous design, but you'll know that it's proven already, people are buying it, and they'll want to purchase something that's very similar to it. Okay, so just a quick recap. As I do this recap, make sure you throw your questions up in the live chat, and I will start answering any questions that you have about print on demand and selling on Etsy. So tip 1, trend research, competitor research. Tip 2, get those reviews. It's a must to get positive reviews, and that will build the foundation for your store. Tip 3, build an email list. And with this email list, you can mention it in your announcement as well as in your listing photos. Have one individual listing photo geared to your email list. Tell them to go and sign up for your email list to get this discount on their next purchase or on that current purchase, as well as you can add it in your description. Okay, and then tip 4 is customer service. Have top-notch customer service. And then tip 5 is rinse and repeat. All right, for those of you that are still here with me, please ask your questions on the live chat. I will be answering any questions that you have. All right, and for all those of you that are joined in, thank you so much for joining in and tuning in to this live stream. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brendan Dopp. I teach you everything you know about print on demand and Etsy. And I have a Facebook group called Print on Demand Warriors, which I suggest jumping into because it's a great place to be part of a community that's doing the same thing as you. So Print on Demand Warriors, the link is in the description. So for those of you that have questions, throw them up in the live chat. While I'm waiting for these questions to come in, I will go ahead and answer some questions that I get often on my Facebook group as well as on my channel. All right, so question number 1. How are some shops selling their shirts, sweatshirts for so cheap? And how can I compete with this? So if you're on Etsy, you'll notice there's some shops that are selling t-shirts for $9.99 or $10.99. Same thing with sweatshirts. They're selling them dirt cheap. There's a few reasons and possibilities for why and how they're selling them for so cheap. So the first one is they're doing all their printing in-house. So they're buying t-shirts, sweatshirts wholesale at a really cheap price. So a couple dollars for a sweatshirt. And then they have a screen printer at home or a DTG printer or whatever it is. And they're doing printing at home and they're shipping everything themselves. They're doing all of the manual labor that comes with running a clothing business. They're doing it all from home so they can have really cheap a cheap product and a really high margin. So that's one case that could be why they're selling them for so cheap. Another one is just the structure that they have their listing. So if you see some listings that are super cheap or products that are cheap, I suggest clicking into that listing and then looking at their variants. Sometimes they'll group a kid's shirt with an adult shirt. And so their adult shirt will be a normal price that Print on Demand does, so around $20, $23, $25. But their kid's shirt will be significantly cheaper so that it appears to be really cheap in search results so that they can get that click. So that's another thing. They could just structure their listing uniquely so that it appears to be cheap, but in reality, the adult shirts aren't that cheap. Okay, another option is volume discount. So on Printful, if you're selling on Printful, Printful offers volume discount. So if you're doing a high volume, they will give you a discount, and so you can have better margins. So that's another option for how they could sell them cheaper, is because they have that volume discount applied to their store. And then, so those are the main ones. To answer that last question, how can I compete? The best way to compete is to make an amazing design after doing your trend research. So you got to make something that's unique, that can't be found anywhere else, that people fall in love with. And if you have a design that people love, they're going to buy it regardless of the price. You'll be surprised what people pay for products on Etsy. So you can sell shirts between $24 and $28, and they'll sell all day long as you have a great design. All right, I'm seeing a few questions coming in. I'll start answering these questions. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We have David. David, good to have you here, man. Always love when you tune in. So Brennan just bought a couple of mockups from you this week. Great quality. Remind me, have you experimented with mugs or kids shirts? If so, do you know the recommended canvas size to design? Awesome, David. Thank you so much for supporting our mockup shop, Malama Mocks. Grateful for you and for your purchase. And I'm glad that you're happy with them. For your question, have you ever experimented with mugs or kids shirts? We haven't done kids shirts, but we have experimented with selling mugs. When we first started out, we sold a lot of mugs, but we didn't have as much success as we've had with t-shirts and sweatshirts. So we don't put our focus on mugs. One, because the price point's tricky with Printful. They're really expensive. And then the shipping headache of them. But with mugs, you can have a lot of opportunity with them if you really brand yourself well and you have really unique designs. But we don't sell mugs currently. We have 1 or 2 mugs currently that are active in our store. But right now we just focus on adult clothing, t-shirts and sweatshirts. And for kids shirts, we haven't sold any kids shirts, but it's not a bad idea. But with Printful, they are fairly expensive is your only issue. So if so, do you know the recommended canvas size to design? So for kids shirts, David, I would do the same process you do for adult clothing. I do 5,000 by 5,000 for your design, and then bring that into Printful and then adjust accordingly if needed. Just make sure your DPI is 300 or above. And then for your mugs, it's a unique, I forget the recommended size off the top of my head, but if you go to the mug, whatever you're selling, whatever mug you're selling, go to that print file on Printful and then look at the file details, and they'll tell you what they recommend for your file size. And you can even get the print file template that you can bring into Over or Sketchbook or Photoshop, whatever you're designing in. And so you can get it exactly how it should be in the exact placement, so it's centered and all of the things necessary. So yeah, go to Printful, go to the file details, and they'll tell you exactly what it is. But I can't remember off the top of my head, David. If you ask me this same question in the comment section after this live stream or in the Facebook group, I'll get an answer to you that's more thorough. So awesome question, David. Thank you. Nikki, good to have you here again. I'm so sorry I wasn't ready to hit send yet. Oh, good to have you here, Nikki. So Henrietta Dodds, hey, Bryn, thank you. I followed what you said, letting friend buy and leave a review, and I'm happy to say, just as was celebrating my first sale, I got 3 more. No way. Congratulations. That is so exciting. So with these next 3 sales that you get once that product has been delivered, make sure you ask them to leave reviews as well. And as you build that foundation, your store will just slowly snowball and start to take off and do really well for you. But congrats. That's super exciting. Keep up the good work. Nikki, I was voice texting. Okay, makes sense. All right, my friends, if you have any more questions, please throw them up in the live chat. I will answer those now. For the time being, I will be answering questions that I get often on my Facebook group and on my channel. So the next question I have, do you like Placeit or buying your mockups off of Etsy better? For me personally, I like purchasing my mockups off of Etsy, and it's for multiple reasons. One, with mockups off of Etsy, you can do a one-time purchase of $3 to $6 or even cheaper, $1.99 to $7 or whatever it is. They're fairly cheap and affordable, and they're really high-quality professional mockups that look realistic because they are real. They're real models who are doing these photos, and you can use them over and over again as many times as you'd like without having to pay a monthly fee as you do on Placeit. With Placeit, you have to either pay $14.95 per month to subscribe to use their mockups and whatever other things that they offer on their site, or you can do a yearly payment of $89.69. So it just adds up over time. For me, I like to purchase bundles off of Etsy, and I'll have as many mockups as I like that I can use over and over again for as long as I want. And just the look of the mockups on Etsy, I feel are much nicer than the ones that they offer on Placeit. That's my personal preference. I prefer purchasing my mockups off of Etsy. Okay, we got some more questions possibly coming in. Marta, hi, Brennan. I'm struggling with designs. I'm not artistically inclined, and I don't want to copy others. Any tips? I have an Over account and recently signed up for Canva as well. So if you are struggling with designing, my first tip is don't overthink it. You don't need to be an artist to have success on Etsy. A lot of the most basic text designs do the best on Etsy. So I've seen so many basic text where it just has a one word text or just a few words, and it's just a basic font that they picked on Canva or Over or different sites that have done really well for them. And with that, they've just added in a few graphics that come with Over or Canva. So just simplify, gain inspiration from other people, don't copy, but just don't overthink it. And the more you do this, Mara, the more experience you'll have and the better you'll become and a better feel you'll have for designing. There's a few softwares and programs out there that offer graphic design help, where there's in-house designers that will design for you. One of them is called Vexels. That's Vexels. And I plan to do a video on this in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. And it may be an alternative for you, Marta, to be able to have other designers create your designs for you so that you stand out more. But just don't overthink it. You'll have success just as long as you stick with it. Okay, Mary, hi, Brandon. I love your videos. Thank you. No problem. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do you know if it's possible on Over in one text box to have words with different colors? In one text box to have words with different colors. I don't believe that it is, Mary. A way to do this is create. So if you're doing, I don't know, proud to be an American or whatever phrase you're doing, just came to my mind because the 4th is coming up soon. You'd have to create 3 or 4 separate text boxes and then change the colors individually. I don't think there's one way to change, if you have one text box, to change individual words. Another option is to look, if you have an iPad, look at using Procreate. You have more options to color change different letters and different words within Procreate. So that's an alternative option for you. But for the time being, an easy solution is just to create 3 separate text boxes or whatever your phrase is, and then change each one individually. So when someone has words with 5 different letters, each letter needs a new box. If doing an Over, possibly yes. But Procreate, you can do it really easy. I'm sure on Photoshop you can do that fairly easy as well. But on Procreate, you have different colors. On Procreate, you can just do a pin dropper tool and just take your word, type out your word, and then pin drop each letter. So it's really easy. So Procreate on an iPad if you have an iPad. Photoshop may be an alternative option. I'm not sure about Canva. You could possibly look into Canva, but I'm pretty sure Canva is very similar to Over in terms of that. But great question, Mary. Thank you. Any other questions from you guys? If you have them, throw them up in the live chat now. I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, next question that I get often is, I want to start a second Etsy shop. Am I allowed to? Are you allowed to have more than one Etsy shop? The answer is yes. You can have as many Etsy shops as you'd like. The thing you need to remember, and the thing that's important, is you sign up and create that Etsy account with a different email. So you can't have the same corresponding email. You have to have an entirely different email, but you can use the same credit card payment or whatever type of payment service on all shops if you'd like. So you just have to have a different email, and you can create as many Etsy shops as you'd like. You can have more than one. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Next question I have for you is, does Printful have expedited shipping? So the answer is yes, they do have expedited shipping, but unfortunately, there's a few hiccups with it. One, if you purchase expedited shipping, which costs between $20 and $30, depending on location, and as well, expedited shipping is dependent upon location. There's some places where you can't expedite anything, but the ones that do allow it, it will cost around $20 to $30, give or take, but it will not push your order up in the fulfillment queue. So it'll still take the 5 to 7 days to fulfill your order. It won't push it forward because they do first in, first out, but it will only expedite the shipping portion of it. So yes, they do expedite shipping, but it won't push your product forward. So it will ship out at the same time. So really, it's not worth it to me to spend the money on expedited shipping or have my customer spend the money on expedited shipping, because it's not like they'll receive it in a few days. So that's the only downside with it. An alternative option for this is, if you want to have maybe a way to expedite products, is to find a local print provider near you. So it's a little print shop that does printing, screen printing, or direct to garment, and possibly use them for orders that need to be rushed. And then they can hurry and print for you. You'll pay probably a rush fee as well as pay the expedite fee for shipping. So that's an option for you if you are urgent to expedite something for a customer. All right. Mary, yesterday I posted my first design. I had your video walking me through the process step by step. Thank you so much. I had really been a challenge figuring it out, and your video was awesome. Thank you, Mary. I'm so glad it was able to help. All right. So if you don't have questions, I'll keep answering some questions that I get often. But please, if you have questions, now's the time to get those questions answered for me to answer them the best that I can. So please add them to the live chat, and I will answer any questions that you have. Okay, next question. Can you compete in oversaturated niches? So I touched on this earlier. Yes, you can very easily compete in saturated niches, but the only way to compete is to trend combine and make something that isn't different and stands out from other designs. So you have to make something unique. You can't, if you have another shop that has a bestseller badge and they're doing really well with it, if you just go high and dry copy their design, you will not compete at all. You will probably get very few sales, if any. So you got to make something completely unique and different, but incorporating things that are already trending. But Etsy is extremely saturated. That is the truth. It is super saturated, but there's still so much money to be made on Etsy. And it blows my mind every day that you can sell consistently every single day, multiple sales a day, 10 to 20 sales or even more, depending on how your shop is doing, as long as you have unique designs that stand out and that people want. So you can easily compete. You just got to put in the work and be creative, think of ways to trend combine and make something that people want and desire. All right. Any other questions from you guys? Please throw them in the live chat now. And if you haven't joined my Facebook group yet, Print on Demand Warriors, please go and jump in there. It will benefit you, I can promise. There's so many cool people in that community who are answering questions daily, and you can get answers there that you can't necessarily find on Google. So I'll go on with more questions that I have, if there's none from you. So Etsy fee breakdown. So people often question, what are the Etsy fees? How much do they charge you for fees? And how do you keep track of all this? So there's a few fees. There's 3 specifically that you need to be aware of. One is the listing fee. Anytime you list something on Etsy, they'll charge you a 20-cent listing fee. And with that, anytime a listing renews, you'll be charged that 20-cent fee as well. Also, anytime that item sells. So if someone purchases something from you, it will renew that listing and they'll charge you a 20-cent listing fee. The next fee is your transaction fee, which includes shipping, and they'll charge you a 5% off listed price. So that'll be 5% off of the listed price for your transaction fee. And then lastly is the payment processing fee. So it's 3% plus 25 cents for US sellers. And it slightly varies depending on country as well as bank location. So those are the 3 fees that you need to be aware of on Etsy. The ways that I keep track of this is using the eRank profit calculator. Super easy to use and extremely helpful to keep track of your total costs for materials, your total costs for fees, and then what your total profit will be. So you just plug and play your numbers, plug in everything, and then they'll calculate your total profit after all fees and material costs. So highly suggest using the Etsy or the eRank profit calculator. All right. So we have another. So Bella Vida, hi Brennan, what's your best advice to get more views on your listings? I see views coming in, but no sales yet. Thanks in advance, Tina. So if you are just starting on Etsy, it takes time. It is a long-term game. It's a long-term business. It's not a get-rich-overnight scheme at all. You got to put in the hard work. But my best advice for you to increase listings and increase sales is a few things. 1, do your trend research, as mentioned before. 2, have great proven SEO for your titles and your tags. So make sure you're using keywords that people are actually searching for. And then make sure your 13 tags, you're using all 13 and they're matching your title. So use all keywords in your title. Make sure your tags match your title. So have great SEO. Another great thing you need to have, or super important thing you need to have, is extremely nice professional listing photos. So especially for your primary photo, if you have an awful primary photo, if you're using the Printful mockups or Printify mockups, or just a mockup that doesn't stand out and doesn't set yourself apart from the other stores, it'll be hard to get the initial clicks and the initial views to your store. So you got to have really nice mockups. That I love to use model mockups. So an option is to use a lot of models, have a few model mockup photos in your listing, as well as a few flat lays in your listing. and just mix it up. So those are critical for getting views. And then just increase listing count. As I mentioned in the beginning, it's just a numbers game. The more you build out your store, the more listings you have, the high quality listings, the better off you'll be to be found. And it's just like fishing. The wider you cast your net, the more fish you'll catch, the more opportunities you'll have to be found on Etsy. So just keep up the work, stay patient, Tina. Just stick with it. Keep adding listings, keep improving. Figuring out ways you can adjust and pivot to improve your shop, improve your listings. Just do all the necessary little things to really have success. But you'll get there. I promise you'll get there as long as you stick with it. Mary, when the title phrases are too long for tags, what do you suggest? Does it matter if some of the tags don't match because of that? Great question. So for that, Mary, I'll fill out my entire title. If I have a long tail keyword in my title that won't fit into a tag, I will break it up. So I will do, let's say, cute shirt for 4th of July is an example. I would have that in my title, and then I'd go and split that up in my tag. So I would do cute shirt 4 is one tag, and then 4th of July is another tag. So just split them up so that it reads correctly as if it was the word that you or the keyword that you have in your title, the long tail keyword, but just split them up, and then you'll be good to go for matching, and Etsy will recognize it in your title and tag that they're similar. Okay. All right, and then with that too, Mary, a lot of the times you'll fill your entire title out, but you'll still have leftover tags that you need to fill the 13. And then just think like a buyer, use proven keywords, proven SEO to continue to fill out your 13 tags. But you don't need to overcomplicate SEO. Honestly, it's people overcomplicate it. You just need to make sure you're using proven SEO that people are searching for. There's a few different ways to do it. One, use the search bar on Etsy, see what's popular right now. That's a great way to get keyword ideas. Another, look at listings that are performing well, that are ranking on the first page. Ignore the ones that have add buy because they're paying to promote to be able to rank on the first page. But look at these listings in your niche on the first page that are ranking well, that are selling, and see what keywords they're using. And then you can pull some keywords from multiple listings. Never copy a title exactly. You never want to copy another seller's title. Just get inspiration from their keywords that they're using. Okay, I hope that answered your question. All right, next question. Hi, what's the best pricing in Etsy? So that depends on what you're selling. For shirts, I would price your shirts around $23 to $25 range, or $21 to $25 range. Depends on what your competitors are doing and what niche you're in. For starting out, you may need to have a lower price point to start to gain momentum and get the ball moving, and then you can slowly increase your price on your listing once it's selling and people are purchasing it. So that's a decent price point range for your t-shirts if you're using Printful. For sweatshirts, you can sell your sweatshirts in the $30 to $40 range. That's for the crew neck Gildan 18,000. If you're doing hoodies, you'll need to sell more because they cost more on Printful, and in the $40, $50 range. It just depends on, again, what your competitor is doing and how you want to structure your store. So best pricing, it just varies on what you want to do, but those are a few options for you. And then I just experiment. You'll just need to experiment with pricing, see what works, see what doesn't work, and then adjust accordingly. Okay. And then another thing with that, your pricing structure can vary in multiple ways with how you have shipping set up as well. So if you're offering free shipping, obviously your price point is going to be higher because you have the shipping cost built into your price point. But if you are charging for shipping, you can have a lower price point, and then your profit will come from the cost of the shipping. And it's just strategy on what you want to do, what works best for you. It's preference on what you do. I personally offer free shipping in the US, and then I charge for shipping for my international orders. And the reason why is because they say Etsy ranks you better in search results, as well as I think customers personally just prefer free shipping. For me, when I shop online, I prefer free shipping. Sometimes if something charges for shipping, I'll bounce off of it because I don't want to pay the shipping. So it's just how you want to structure it, but it's entirely up to you. Okay, next question. Henrietta, who has just had sales recently. She had her first sale from a family member, if you guys missed that, and then she had 3 shortly after, I believe. So she said, yes, it does take time. I started my Etsy shop in April and did not get a true sale till the end of May. So it took Henrietta a whole month to get her first sale. Same with me when I started out. It took almost a month and a half to 2 months to get my first sale. And it was extremely discouraging, but because I stuck with it, I'm in a position now where I'm able to have this be my full-time thing, selling on Etsy. And it's a great way to make income online. And once you get it built out, it can become extremely passive as you build your store out. But with that being said, it's passive. It takes work. There's no like 100% true way of passive income. It takes upfront groundwork before you can start really gaining momentum and start having a good income off of it. But it's a great way to supplement your income to pay for groceries or pay for gas, or you can even turn it into something that's full-time, doing your full-time thing where it's your main source of income. But such a cool way to earn money for someone that has very little background in e-commerce. Anyone can get started with it. And if you're new to my channel, go and watch all of my videos because I walk you through step by step from beginning to end on how to get started and making your first sales and to make consistent sales on Etsy. And I share everything that I've done and that I've learned that have helped me have success. But awesome chime in, Henrietta. Thank you so much. It does take time. I just keep with it. All right. Bella Vita. Let's see here. Okay, thanks. Great tips. I was not putting the same title SEO in my tags. Going to start that. It will definitely help with ranking. So I highly recommend matching title to tags and breaking up the way I mentioned before. So, oh wow. So the 4 is also important. Thank you. Mary, I assume it is. I would match it as close as possible. But again, with the algorithm of Etsy, you don't know what is what, and it changes from time to time. It's always changing. So, but I would recommend matching titles to tags. It'll recognize it the best. Okay. Can you do a video explaining their eRank tool? I can use the calculator, but based on Etsy analysis, I don't know what I'm looking at. Awesome. So I honestly don't use eRank much. I don't use it much other than for the profit calculator and a few other things for like trend research. For keywords specifically, I honestly do most of my keyword research right on Etsy. And I share those tips. I've shared them already in this live stream, but using the search bar to find proven keywords. Another great place to mine keywords is on Pinterest. A lot of the audience on Pinterest are avid Etsy shoppers. So go and do the same process you do on Etsy in the search bar on Pinterest. Look in the search bar there, see what's searched, what's recently searched, and pull keywords from pins on Pinterest. It's a great way to mine keywords there. And then just as I mentioned before, look at keywords on your Etsy listings that are performing well from other sellers. So, but I can consider doing a more thorough eRank video, but I don't use it as much as I use other sources for doing my keyword research. Do you get many international orders? You feel it's worth it? So Mary, this is kind of a catch-22 on what you want to do. Some say yes, some say no, it's not worth it. For me personally, it is worth it. It's 100% worth it. The reason being is with Printful, they have print providers throughout the world. They're not only US based. They have providers in Europe, in Australia, in Canada. And so you can easily get product to people internationally at a very affordable price and at a very quick shipping time. Sometimes your international orders will be shipped and delivered before your US orders. That's just the way it is. The only downsides you have with your international orders is the confusion that people have and the questions they have with their VAT fees and GST fees, which Printful will charge you. It's a value added tax. It's just similar to your state tax that you pay in the US. So if you're selling internationally, I suggest accounting for that fee because you will be charged it. So just I personally add it into my shipping cost for my international orders. I give me a buffer of $4 to $5 or whatever it is. It varies per country, but that's the general buffer is $4 to $5. And it's a great way to cover that VAT fee so that you can sell internationally. But if you don't want to sell internationally, just sell stateside. Most of my orders come from the States. My main demographic is in the US. So that's who I target. And that's who I promote to, obviously. But you'll pick up a sale here and there from international orders throughout Europe and Australia and Canada. So it's your choice what you'd like to do. But I think it's well worth it. All right. Do you have a video that shows exactly how to set up free shipping in the US and price shipping for international? I do not yet, but that is a video I plan to do in the coming weeks. So thank you again for the reminder and the suggestion. I will have a shipping profile video coming out soon, and I'll notify you in my Facebook group as well as here on my channel. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But that's a great video suggestion. And if you guys have any other video suggestions, throw them up in the live chat because I will keep note of them and I'll do them throughout the next coming months. All right, next question. What do you think about Etsy offsite ads? They charge me about $3 per sale. Should I turn them off and start doing my own advertising? So that's a catch for sure. I sometimes question it if it's worth it or not. I personally don't do much offsite Etsy ads. Occasionally, from time to time, depending on the holiday and the season, I will do promoted ads within Etsy. But for offsite ads, the one way to look at it is, one is to get a sale and to show Etsy that your shop is active and that people are liking your stuff and they're engaging your stuff, so they'll promote it more, and it will help it naturally, organically rank better. So for those reasons, I think it's smart to have offsite ads. But with the margins, you can't bank on it to have a decent margin with the offsite ads just because they hit you with so many fees, and it will cut into all of your margin, because with print on demand, you have fairly slim margins depending on pricing and who you're using. So it's your choice what you want to do. For me, I think it's a great way to gain that organic traction, but just don't bank on the profit for it. Does the eRank calculator take out the percentage from Printful and Etsy? I tried using it, but found it a bit confusing. So you need to manually plug in your material cost. If you're charging for shipping, you need to plug in your shipping cost, and then it will automatically account for the fees that Etsy charges you for your in profit. So you do need to manually plug in what Printful is charging you for material cost of a shirt and what they charge you for shipping, and then the rest is pretty straightforward. So just plug in the numbers, and then you'll be able to do it. And I can do a quick tip on this in my Facebook group. I do videos from time to time in my Facebook group where I can walk you through how to use the eRank profit calculator. But it's pretty straightforward. You just plug and play the numbers, and then you'll get your in profit. That was such a thorough answer. Thank you. Relating to international orders. Cool. I'm glad it helped. Do you have a video on using Canva? I love those shirts that use different colors for each letter. Would love to learn how to do that. I currently don't have any videos on Canva just because I mostly use Over. I love Over. It's so simple, and I feel like it's so much more functional than Canva and user-friendly. My most favorite thing about Over that I feel Canva lacks is having access to all of your layers. So you can sort, you can click on your layers on the right toolbar, and you can easily move different designs or different graphics. Whereas Canva, it's almost a headache because you got to send it back or send forward to easily move things, or you got to lock the item before you can move something. So I prefer Over. So most of my videos are on Over, but I can consider doing a Canva tutorial video in the near future. So I'll add that to my video list. Thank you, Mary. Any other questions? So if you haven't liked this video already, if you're finding value in this video, please give it the thumbs up. It will help out this video as well as my channel so I can continue to make content. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you subscribe. I post new videos once a week, usually every Thursday, and I go live every other week. And I plan to start going live more often. So if you hit the bell and you're notified, it will notify you so you can stay tuned on when I post. And if you haven't joined my Facebook group yet, make sure you join my Facebook group, Print on Demand Warriors. The link is in the description. An awesome place to be part of a wonderful community. And a lot of the people that are tuned in right now, I see a lot of familiar names that are in that community. So if you have more questions, please ask them now in the live chat. I'll be on for the next little bit, answering any questions that you have relating to Etsy and relating to Printful that can help you succeed and have success and start making passive money online, and hopefully make something that can turn into your full-time income. All right, until I see more questions, I'll continue to answer questions that I have that I get asked often. Okay, another one that I like to talk about is mindset. So the mindset of running your own business and getting started with Etsy and Printful, it is a long-term game. You got to go into it with that mindset. It's a long-term game. It will take hard work. It takes patience. And it just is a huge learning curve that you have to go through before you start seeing success. There are those few situations where people will see success over a few weeks and they'll start getting sales, but it just takes time. So you got to stick with it. If you get discouraged, you can't just forget your Etsy shop and go away from it. The best thing to do when you get discouraged is to list, and learn. As you continue to learn and implement and just improve yourself and improve your shop, you will eventually start to gain sales and start to grow your Etsy shop. It's just a guarantee. It will happen as long as you're constantly working on it and figuring out ways on how to improve. So just stay disciplined. Don't get discouraged. It happens, but you just got to stick with it and work hard, and you'll see success as it comes. I promise you that from living experience, learning all about this and starting myself, having no idea about Etsy or Printful, and jumping into it and just doing the groundwork to get where I'm at today. So I promise you success will come. There's a ton of people in this chat already that have seen sales because they just took initiative, they just took action, and they started doing the things that I share as well as the things that they've learned on their own, and they implemented it and they started to see sales. Two examples we already have here is David and then Henrietta, she shared before. So for those of you that are tuned in right now, I'd be curious to see, how is it going for you? Are you struggling with sales? Are you getting sales? How many sales are you at? Let me know in the live chat, and then we can go from there. But I'd be curious just to hear how it's going for you and hear your experience. Okay, Mary, awesome question. I'm curious how passive it is versus lots of customer service emails. So it's kind of a catchword for sure. Passive, having it be 100% passive on Etsy is not true, but it can be passive in terms of you build out your store, you get 100 listings up or 500 listings up. You can, obviously you'll do your work during the week or in the mornings, however you structure your work day, or you work in the evenings, and you can be out playing or out grocery shopping or going to your kids' athletic games or whatever you do for fun. And you can be making money while you're doing that. In terms of that way, it's 100% passive. You can be making money while you're sleeping. You can be making money while you're eating, while you're doing things other than work, which is the coolest feeling, being able to make money while you're out hiking or doing hobbies that you love. So that terms, it's super passive in that way. But it does take a lot of upfront work. And then with the customer service, yes, Etsy, it does bring along customer service. You're going to get customer service. There's no way to avoid it, but there are ways to reduce it. So there's no way to avoid customer service, but there are ways to reduce it. And that's through having very thorough listing descriptions, very thorough listing photos with all of the necessary information, and then having very clear, well thought out answers for frequently asked questions on your Etsy shop. Because the more you sell on Etsy, you'll realize you just get the same questions over and over again. And you want to include those in your frequently asked questions because it will help people receive answers before having to reach out and message you. But it does take work. It's not 100% passive, but you can get your store built out, and you can put an hour to it into it a day, or an hour to a few hours to it every few days, and you can be making money 24 hours of the day as sales come in. So awesome question though, Mary. Thank you. How many listings for a specific holiday would you recommend putting up? I have 3 4th of July listings up so far. So the more, the merrier. So the more you have, the more chances you'll have to be found. It's 100% a numbers game. I can't say that enough. I'll say it over and over again. So just the more 4th of July listings you have, the more chances you'll have to increase your sales and to sell 4th of July items. So you could get lucky and have 1 or 2 of your designs that do really well for you. But just I would recommend adding more and more listings, especially for the 4th and the coming holidays. And for planning for future holidays, you always want to be ahead of the game and thinking ahead. So give yourself at least minimum a month or 2 to have your listings up for the coming holidays. Ideally, though, have 2 to 3 months prior to that holiday to have all of your listings up and built out and ready to go for that holiday, so they can naturally start organically ranking and start gaining momentum before that holiday. Because with holidays, you have to consider in the fact that you're going to have order deadlines. You'll need to include order deadlines in your store where you say, okay, this is the cutoff date in order to receive this item by this specific holiday, because it's going to take time for processing and it will take time for shipping. So you just need to be ahead of the game, think ahead, always plan ahead, so you're ready for all holidays. But just there's no magic number. The more the better. So just keep at it, keep adding. Okay, how many images mockups should we post for one listing? Awesome question. Okay, so if you have for your listing photos, depends on how many variants you are offering. So if you have 2 or 3 colors, so if you're selling a black sweatshirt, a white sweatshirt, and an indigo blue sweatshirt, you want to have a mock-up photo for each individual color, and specifically, I prefer them on Mockups. But you can do like a white sweatshirt and a black sweatshirt on a model mock-up, and then your indigo blue on a flat lay, depending on how you want to set it up. So make sure you have an image for all of your colors. And then as well, in my listing photos, I like to include a chart or your size chart so they can see the sizing and so they can match sizing and make sure they order the correct size. Also, I also want to include a shipping and processing time so they know how long it takes for my items to process, and then how long it'll take for them to receive it once it's been shipped, and just the whole time frame of it. So those are the main priority things. And then with that, I would also include a photo for if you have an email list, for your email list, or if you have some type of sale going or a coupon you want to give them, you can include that. But so if you're struggling to get like mock-up photos alone, you can fill it out with those other things as I mentioned. So Etsy does encourage to use all of the images that you can, just for your listing score rank. I don't know how critical and how much it actually affects the listing score of it, because I've seen listings where they only have one image and that listing is killing it and they're doing super well with it. So it just all honestly comes down to design and your SEO. But those are things that I would 100% include in your listing photos. It will help with conversion. It'll help your customers be informed and they'll know. And it's just a great way for really helping increase sales in your store and on those specific listings. All right. Okay, next. Nikki, can you remind me what size to choose on Printful if you are selling women's shirts that are Bella Canvas unisex fit? Okay, so if I'm understanding your question right, Nikki, please let me know if not. If you push your Printful listing as unisex, it will show as a men's shirt. If you push it as a women's shirt, it will show as a women's shirt. But if you push it as a men's shirt, it will show as just a regular. It won't say unisex, but it'll just say the size. So it'll say a small whatever letter, medium, large. It's kind of weird verbiage how they say it, but so for women's, push it as a women's shirt to show as women's in your Etsy shop. So if that wasn't what you're asking, Nikki, please clarify and let me know. Mary, do you have a great system for organizing your designs, etc., on your computer or on Google Docs? If yes, would you consider doing a video on organization as you build the business? Okay, cool question. That's a great suggestion. So for the way I keep everything organized, it's pretty straightforward, as most of you probably do. There's on my computer, on my desktop, I have my folder for my shop name, and then I break it down for the niche that the design is for. So let's say 4th of July designs, Christmas designs, Halloween designs, or specific niche like hiking designs or whatever niche it is. And I'll just organize it that way. And then I will, because my designs for my shirts and my sweatshirts, I design them on the same canvas size, 5,000 by 5,000. So I don't need to categorize it that way. So I just do it specifically by niche. And then it's real easy to find. But I have that on my computer as well as I use Google Drive as well, because it makes it really easy for going between devices and from like iPad or from my phone or from computer to bounce between the three, and I'll organize them the exact same way there. So, but yeah, I think that'd be a cool video idea to just kind of talk about the behind the scenes of organization, how we keep everything organized, how we what tools we're using for business, for just like productivity and ways that we help ourselves be more effective. So cool video idea. I'll consider that though for sure. Okay, next question. Henrietta, I use the mockups that I bought on Etsy generally as the first, second on my listing, and then use Printful mockups to fill in the slots. That's fine, Henrietta. It's not a bad idea. I see a lot of shops that do that. For me personally, I think branding wise and just like cohesiveness, it looks way cleaner to have a mockup for all of them, or a flat lays for the other ones that I'm not using on models. But I don't think it's right or wrong. I see shops do well the way you have your setup. But preference for me, I prefer having all nice model mockups or flat lays, and then fill it with the other things as mentioned before for coupons, email list, shipping processing times, any other necessary information. Can you make Can you make a video for email list to show how to use it for marketing and draw traffic to the store? Yes, definitely. I know I've gotten this request a lot, and I keep saying I'll do it in the future, but I do plan to do this in the coming future. Just a simple video on how you set up an email list and how you promote it and how you then market afterwards. So great video idea. Thank you. HKH, thank you, man. Okay, Mary, I've heard you say it's good to use models, but if they are unisex shirts, that makes me wonder if we'll limit who would buy it. Okay, so yeah, it depends on who you're selling to, but most of the people that are buying on Etsy, higher percentage are females, women buying for themselves or for friends. You'll sometimes get the like moms or daughters or whatever, they're buying for their dads or their grandpas or for their boyfriend, whatever it is. But most people are buying for themselves, which are women most more often than not on Etsy. And the unisex shirt, I think it's good to see it on a women's. You just need to, or on a female model, just make sure you clarify in your listing photos and in your description that it is unisex fit, and to refer to the size chart to make sure they get their correct size. And I always recommend having them measure their favorite t-shirt and then compare it to our size chart. Same thing with sweatshirts. That way it ensures they get the correct size. But I think it's great to have them see what a unisex shirt looks like on a model. And even some mock-up shops will include the model's height and weight, or a few different measurements, so that you can really gauge an idea of, okay, so they're 5'3", I'm 5'6", they're wearing a size small, I need a size medium, or whatever it is. That can also help with conversion in your store. Okay, next question. Okay, my advice for designing: go crazy with making chicken scratch for a couple of hours every day that you become professional. I promise you. Awesome advice. Yeah, you just got to just sit down with the pencil or on the computer, whatever you're using. If you have an Apple Pencil or whatever you're using, and just go at it, and just trial and error. Just keep going. The more you do it, the better you'll get with it, and that applies to all aspects of life. So the more practice you put in, the more you will improve and the more success you'll have. So awesome tip. Thank you. Do you think that we should find another provider instead of Printful? Their prices seems a bit expensive and somehow take tank tops, for example. Yeah, so for specific products, Printful does have some really expensive products, like tank tops is a prime example, as you mentioned. Printify is a cheaper alternative. If you want to use Printify, you can. Your margins will be better. But for me, I've had way fewer negative experiences with Printful when it comes down to quality and print than I've had on Printify. I started out on Printify, and I was just having too many headaches with customers getting the wrong product or poor print quality or whatever it was, to where I just couldn't use them anymore. They weren't reliable. So I went to Printful, and not only I feel their quality is better. Yes, they charge more, but you get that with better quality. And you can have a good margin still, because people will pay for the design if you have good design. So you got to do your trend research. But just their interface alone, their whole platform is so much better, I feel, than Printify. Just a few examples: you can do Printful Perks, where you get coupon codes to get discounts on items, their volume discount, their stats you can follow. So like your store, how it's doing in orders, how many orders compared to the previous month, all those things you get on Printful, which you don't get on Printify, and therefore I just love them better. So it's your choice, though. If you want to experiment with other providers, you can have at it and see what works better. You can always come back to Printful. But for me personally, I love Printful. I swear by them. I've had the best luck with them. All right. Love your mock-ups, but can you create a wider variety of mock-ups in ethnicity, sex, gender, and shirt color? Awesome tip. Great suggestion. I will definitely make note to that for our team, and we will start adding more of that. We plan to do some more male mock-ups, because I feel like there's few of them on Etsy right now, but we will also consider doing different varieties of ethnicity and branch out more. So great tip. Thank you. And if you haven't checked out my mock-up shop yet, it's called Malama Mocks. The link is in the description. We've recently started the shop just for our own shop, and just because we weren't finding what we wanted. But Malama Mocks, you can go and check it out and see if there's anything that you like. As also join our email list there on Malama Mocks, because we will keep you tuned and informed on sales and when we post new mockups. And if you sign up for our email list, you get 2 free mockups from the get-go. So if you just want 2 free mockups, you can go and subscribe and then bounce if you'd like. So cool. Okay, please make a video explaining the shipping in detail, especially international shipping. Okay, I will do this. I'll do a video here very soon on setting up shipping profiles. All right, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. If you did not get your question answered, or you just thought of a question, you can throw it up in the comment section down below, and I will answer those within the next few days. As well, you can go and ask your questions on our Facebook group, Print on Demand Warriors. The link is in the description. Please go and join. If you haven't liked this video yet and you found value in it, please go ahead and give it the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can always be informed on when I'm posting new content, which is every week. And I'm going live every other week. And just go jump in that Facebook group as well, because it's a great place to learn and grow. But I'm grateful for all of you tuning in. It's fun to chat with you and to hear from you and to hear what questions you have and to hopefully help you along your Etsy journey. But stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy your weekend as it's coming soon, and keep working hard. And I promise, as you work hard, you do your trend research, you do the things that I teach on my channel, that you will see success and you'll start to see an increase in sales in your store. And if you haven't watched all of my videos yet, go and watch my videos from beginning to end. If you've already watched them, go and watch them again, because there may be a few things that you have missed. But thank you guys. Fun chatting. Have a wonderful night. Okay. Bye, you guys.